So we opened with Monet giving Tariq the rules of the game. Now he having a meeting with Stern. So Simon Stern got married and now he has to deal with the husband. So he negotiating a way to run his drug business as a tutoring business through an app, and he's got the Sterns running the money in cash to him. After that meeting, Tasha called Tariq worried. She's like, you better get a piece. So now back in the Canoculus Studies class, they're announcing the fellowship program. And the Puerto Rican girl that was flirting with Tariq got a whole man in DC, and you get to go there if you win. So she go up to the professor and she says, what are you looking for in a fellow? But that guidance counselor right next to her and it's like, oh, I see exactly what's going on here. She'll get the fellowship because they'll be having some canoculus coitus, as I heard him the other day. She asked him for a dinner. She said, I want to discuss this in more detail. So he said, well, let's go on and invite Professor Milburn and another student so you know this looks above board. And Tariq's like, I'll go. Meanwhile, across town, Monet and Kane are meeting with the gang that's got the block hot. She's like, y'all know you messed up. Child, they couldn't just take the warning and walk away. He had to call Mary Punta, and Kane starts whooping his ass. Now we got Tariq and his white friend getting ready to open shop. But the brother's worried that that other dealer is going to get them for dealing on his turf. Tariq's like, he doesn't even know you're the competente. So after we see a successful drug business montage, we got Tariq going to play the lawyer, but he's not happy about that mock trial. Meanwhile, across town, Monet lets her family know they'll be working with Tariq, and she sends Drew to figure out how the business is running. So Drew go over to Tariq's school and they end up in one of his art classes together. And he has to sit down with somebody new and you see a spark of flirt with the basketball player and Drew. Across town, Sax is trying to find out how Tariq is paying Davis. Oh Lord, so Sax's niece gets in trouble for buying weed, and to get out of it, he has her tell Tariq for him. Meanwhile, back at the art class, Drew and the basketball player are exchanging Instagrams. Tariq saw Drew was busy, so he snuck on out. So now we got Tariq at one of his pappy's old stash houses getting the gun that Tasha sent him to get because the block is hot. But then his white friend call him and say, we are out of product. So now the investigator pop up and she give Tariq the money back and she's like, we need cash or wire transfer with proof that it's legal. So he said he was stealing from his grandmother. And she's like, oh, we can help you, baby. Child, Drew go back to the basketball player's dorm room. And they get to the coitus mighty quick. That's some art class ass for your ass. Okay, power with the gay love scene. So right when things are getting hot and heavy, Drew's phone rings. Oh, and he calls his sister instead of his mama. She's like, you better put that on speaker. So Lauren asking Tariq to bring flowers to this dinner. Meanwhile, Tatiana dropping by with the product. Now Tatiana kissing on him. And right when things was getting hot and heavy with them, Drew walks in. So now the Democratic Party has gotten Councilman Tate to lie so that Method Man can't use him against Sax either. Lord, so now we at the dinner and the guidance counselor and the professor is bickering. So Tariq and Lauren sneak off to go get that professor's book and then they get to kissing. Tariq a hoe. Oh my goodness, and her man drops by while she's upstairs kissing Ricky. Oh God, so now the guidance counselors get back to the office and they arguing, just go on and fuck. Oh God, they fucking. Fast forward. Okay, now we got Sax's nephew spying on Reek. So of course Riley go in and do exactly what her uncle tell her not to do, but she immediately gets in good with that white best friend. I told you he'd be the downfall. So wait a minute, why is Tariq now starting shit? He just told somebody that his white best friend had pills and nobody knew he was the competition. Why start shit with your own business? Tariq is just letting his friend's ass get kicked. Tariq. Girl, I gotta say, the white friend whooped that ass. He got that short white man rage. Child, now we got the lawyer and the investigator fucking. Is this a Valentine's Day episode? I want more plot, less heavy breathing and R&B music. They got a whole website for that. Oh, they're having an affair. So they decide to serve Tamika Washington with a subpoena. Oh, the drug dealer got suspended for punching a Weston. So the next day, Lauren apologizes for two-timing on him last night. Little does she know he was two-timing that day too. In prison, Tasha getting pictures of Tariq. They letting her know he earned another day above ground. And it ends with Sax getting a picture of Tariq from his niece. Well, that was a great episode. I'll see you soon for something. All right, let's watch the first episode of season 2 of Power. I have to say, one of the few good things 50 Cent did was this song, because every time it comes on, I get to shimmying. So we open with Pink Sneakers just running out of the club after she shot Holly, but tried to hit Ghost. Meanwhile, Tommy breaking into Angela's apartment. So Angela calls Frankie in from a date to tell her that while Nomar was dying, he said Ghost shot him. Ghost is dealing with the crime scene at the club. So he called Angela and tell her Miami off, I'm busy at work. But they finally say they love each other. Meanwhile, Tommy found Ghost bags at Angela's and he wants answers. Oh Lord, he don't even know Holly been shot. While we got Kanan and Sean driving around. So 50 sees Tasha calls and figures it's about Ghost's death and gets to laughing. And then Sean said, but he's okay? And man, he got to mean mugging. Then again, it's 50 Cent, that mug is mean. So we got 50 Cent trying to kill the sneaker heifer. We got Tommy telling Ghost to be one place so that he can go break in somewhere. So now Ghost looking for Tommy. Meanwhile, Tommy got knocked out in that house he was robbing. So now Simon meeting James to gloat. Back with the lawyers, Frankie gets fired and Miguel Sandoval joins the team. So Angela meet up with Ghost to whine about her work woes. So now 50 Cent beating up the heifer connection so he can find her. So Tasha and Ghost about all Ghost problems, and Tasha's like, well, come on, let me help you. Run it by me. She said, you need to go on and take the territory if you gotta expand. Kill the Serb and act like somebody else did it. But I'm gonna need you to stop seeing Angela, though. So Ghost go over to give her some goodbye dick. Tasha talking to Keisha about how she want to make it work with Ghost, and she believes he'll end it with Angie. So Kanan meets with Andre and talks about Ghost's botched murder and says, well, it'll be traced back to me if I kill Ghost now, but we gonna get him and Tommy. Meanwhile, across town, Sean is watching Ghost meet with Ruiz. So Ghost finally realizes, let me call Tommy's mama. Child, they talk about Ghost doing cocaine together. Back with the lawyers, Angela's having a meeting with Mike Sandoval. Child, he lists off her mistakes and kick her off the task force. She tried to plead her little case with her partial sketch. He wasn't having it. He said, you've got arraignments over in white-collar crime. You better get to work, heifer. Girl, now we at Nomar's funeral. Ruiz cussing out the body. Now, Angela, why you gonna show up when you the reason he dead? You ain't shit. So James gets the approval of the board to reopen. Oh, and this is a very Alexis Carrington moment when James said, all I gotta do is call the landlord of my building and get the sign off. And Stern said, I have just bought your building at auction, James, for 10 cents on the dollar. You once asked me what I wanted from you, and I said, everything you've got. Let's consider this the second installment, James. So Stern is like, look, I can either take your club or you can come work with me. It's going to open with or without you. You did all the work, babe. Angela left the office and go to talk to Knox. She want to know about the Lobos case, and he's like, no, you know I ain't telling you shit. You a hot mess. He's like, all right. If you got a real lead for Ghost, that might get you back. So she realizes Isabel, the daughter, is the only one she can reach out to. So she used Nomar's phone to text her. Now she gonna think it's her debt. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, with James and Tasha, he said, look, I broke it off with Angela, and I will go check on Tommy's mama, because that heifer does lie. Child, Kate tried to keep from opening the door, but he waved that baggie in her face. Shook that bag like you shake that purse. So Tommy is just on a good coke rage like we saw at that presidential debate. talking about you was gonna sell me up the river and run off with Angela. He wasn't gonna sell you out. Oh God, Ghost didn't know she was a federal attorney. So Tommy wanted to take Angela out. Ghost says, I gotta tell you something, Holly got shot. Angela meet up with Isabel at the church and ask her about the Blanco guy, who they think is Ghost, but is actually Tommy. So Tommy just in the hospital crying over Holly. Now Ghost going by Angela's. Angela all happy, and you could tell Ghost is like, is this heifer lying to me? And the episode ends with him asking, so baby, how was work? All right, well, I'll see you soon. For Fargo.